So you're thinking about maybe becoming a real estate agent, and I want to talk to you today about that. I'm going to give you 5 points that you need to really consider before going and getting your license. So, first of all, let's just jump into it. And I want to talk to you about why getting your license is different than knowing how to do real estate, because those are two very different things. Getting your license is basically a way for you just to learn how not to go to jail. That's what I usually tell people because the state of Utah is more concerned about you messing with people's finances and some of their larger decision making abilities. So they're going to tell you, how not to commingle funds. They're going to teach you a little bit about, like, how many square feet are in a lot, or sorry, in an acre. And, they're going to talk about some things related to real estate. But when I went through the course, and what I constantly am hearing feedback on is that most people, when they take the course, and even when I took the course, I was like, well, okay, wait, when am I going to learn how to do real estate? Because going through the licensing process didn't teach me how to fill out what we call a Rep C, or a real estate purchase contract. It didn't really teach me a lot about negotiating. It didn't teach me a lot about just running a business in general. Because when you're doing real estate, there's a difference between doing real estate and having a real estate business. And I consider myself owning a real estate business. So you really need to understand that. But if you are still wanting to move forward on that, just know also, as a side note, a lot of times there are scholarships available. So some people go and they sign up for the class and it's maybe $500 to $700. One thing to realize also is that you're going to have licensing fees after that, which usually equal, anywhere from like $1,500, because you also need to join a board. There's a lot of fees involved. So some people, they think, oh, I can just, jump in, get a license for free or something. There's a lot of fees involved there. So just take that into consideration and, talk to someone that is experienced and can talk to you about that. And I'm happy to talk with you about it as well. But again, just know that learning real estate is a process. It's going to be something that happens over time. It's really important to have a good mentor as well. And so you need to, definitely talk to different brokerages, find out what they offer. Everyone does it a little differently, kind of in what they charge. So I'm happy to help you kind of know if you're looking into that. But I would say the second part of that would be, a lot of people think they're going to do real estate part time instead of full time. And I even started, when I started, I thought, oh, I'm going to just do this part time. And I quickly learned this is not something that, if I'm going to be an expert at, I can't do it just part time. And I know I'm probably going to get a few haters on that comment, and that's okay. But I'm just telling you my experience. And I remember, even when I got my license, I talked to an experienced agent, and she said, whatever you do, don't do part time. And I thought, she's just telling me that, and she doesn't want the competition or whatever. But I'm just telling you that it's really about the service you can give and the knowledge you can give. And with the recent NAR settlement and things happening, and some changes, it's going to be really hard to be a new agent, because you're going to have to prove your value. You're going to have to explain what you bring to the table and why you're being paid that amount of money. And so it's going to be really hard for you to talk about, well, I'm just kind of writing up a contract. Writing up a contract is only a small percentage of what I do as a realtor. And kind of along those lines, I've joked around about, would you go to a part-time knee surgeon to have knee surgery, or would you go to a part-time, neurologist for brain surgery? No, probably not. Because you really need an expert in content to make these decisions. And so you've got to have that drive. And usually I can even just talk to people right off and see if they have that drive and that commitment. Because if they don't have the drive and commitment, that's not going to work. So the next point is also just having a servant heart. And I know that maybe sounds like an odd point to make, but this really isn't about you. And if I have somebody come to me, and I've had this happen where I've had people come and they say, oh, I just want to, make a little money on the side. And that's like, as soon as I ask them, why do you want to get a license? Like, why do you want to do real estate? If they just are talking just about themselves, usually I know they're not going to make it in this industry, because you've got to be a servant, you've got to be committed, And one example is even when I first started and doing real estate, I actually made a goal for myself because now it's changed a little bit. You don't have commissions on the MLS, but it used to be that on the MLS system, you could see what the sellers were offering for a commission. And one of the things that I did just to basically kind of train myself is when I was a new realtor, I never looked at that. And I just didn't pay attention to it because I didn't ever want that to cloud my judgment. I wanted to always do what's best for my client. And so I never looked at what that percentage was. I tried really hard not to even look at it. And so sometimes I was like surprised, right? Or at least until we went under contract, I tried not to ever look at that because I wanted to always show my clients what was best for them, whether somebody was offering 1% commission or 3% or 4%, whatever it was. I just didn't want that to ever cloud my judgment. And so again, I would say do a real good gut check and ask yourself, why are you wanting to do real estate? Is it for yourself, for quick money? Because people also have this misconception that real estate's about, oh, quick money. They don't know all the things that go into it. They don't know the back end of it. And a lot of times I even, try to protect my own clients. There's a lot that goes on. I work, I'm trying to not work 80-hour weeks, but I'll tell you, when it's busy, I'm working 80-hour weeks. I mean, there's some times where I'm working from 7 in the morning until 11 p.m. at night. And that's just the way it is. I'm working weekends. So when people call me and they say, well, I want to keep my full-time job and I want to, just do this real estate on the side, you know, I don't know how they're gonna be able to justify that to people and say, "Hey, you deserve to make money because how are you helping me?" Because that's the new question is I think, buyers are saying, "Hey, what can you do for me?" Or "What can you do if you're listing my house?" And that experience is going to matter. So again, even if you're new, I don't wanna be a Debbie Downer here and say, "Hey, don't do this," but you really need to ask yourself if you're really that committed to moving forward. And again, kind of going back to, do you have a servant heart? Are you willing to really serve your clients and give them your best ability? And are they being served to not just your ability, but is this really the best thing for them? And you really need to ask that. 90 or 95%, I can't remember the exact statistic, of people that get licenses usually do not keep their license after 2 or 3 years. And so there are a lot of people that get licenses and then they kind of get into it and they realize this is kind of a different situation. Again, I'm not trying to be totally down on it because they're great new realtors. I've also met some that just recently got licensed and you know what? They're on fire and they're excited. But the ones that are making it right now work are the ones that are putting in the time. They show up at the office. First thing, they're hitting all the training. And that's, again, what you really want to do is, again, kind of getting your license is one thing. It just means you have the ability legally to do like real estate, but it doesn't mean you're an expert yet. So that's the biggest, criticism I hear from new agents is they just say, wow, I just wasn't prepared. So if you go to a brokerage, I love where I'm at. I'm at KW. They do a lot of training. And again, call me because sometimes we have scholarships available as well. And so sometimes you don't even have to pay for your whole schooling. But then you've got to really be committed and just ask yourself if you are committed. And if you're not, then, again, this may not be the career for you. So, and invest, I would say kind of the last point is just invest in yourself. And what I mean is it's just like an education. I went to school. I have a bachelor's and a master's degree. You need to look at becoming a realtor as this is, once you have your license, like that's a small little thing to check off. But then you've got to really start investing and saying, hey, I'm going to get the tools I need. I'm going to go and attend the classes I need. And some of them are free, but there are some things that are paid. You've got to decide, where are you going to become an expert? And again, looking at it as this is a long-term commitment. This is something that you love doing and you love helping people and you want to get into it for the right reasons. The way that I kind of had this little shift a little while ago is when I realized that I would say I'm a business owner that is a problem solver, and my vehicle by which I do that is real estate. And I love helping people solve those problems that are related to real estate in their life. And I've got some amazing experiences where I was able to help people, whether they were in financial trouble, whether they were going through a divorce, probate. A lot of times this year, I've had a lot of people that have inherited properties, first time home buyers. Basically there's people that are out there and they're like, what do I do? And where do I turn for this knowledge? Because there's a lot of misinformation, kind of some bad information out there, and even around becoming an agent. There's a lot of people that might be a flash in the pan and say, hey, you can do this, you can make $1 million in 60 days. You know what? I'm going to say, you know what, that's just probably not true. And again, I just like to keep it real. And you know what? It still is great. Real estate is always a great thing. But you also have to realize there's areas in real estate, like maybe you want to do commercial, maybe you want to be doing leasing, maybe you want to do the back end of real estate. There's people that even work for me right now that their skill set is more on the organizational side and process and things like that. And so there are different areas of real estate that you can get involved in. And I've even seen some agents, they get in, they think they're going to do sales, but then they kind of morph into something else. And they say, you know what? I don't really want to be in the sales or at the front of it. I'd rather be doing something maybe on the backside. So it's not a bad thing, but you've just got to really kind of analyze what your motives are and what you're looking to do. And if this is again about just, you and quick money, you know what? It's probably not going to be your thing. I just like to just reiterate that. But again, if you've got these motives, you've loved real estate, you're passionate about helping other people, then definitely call me. And let me talk to you a little bit about how you can get your license. Again, sometimes there's scholarships available, and I just wish that I would have started at KW. It's where I'm at right now, and I love it. I own my own company, but I plug into KW because we're the world's largest broker, the world's largest brokerage. So we're in different countries as well. But what I love about KW is we are very strong on training. And so we have amazing education. And so if you are new, you've got to really treat it like a full-time job and just put yourself in those training modules and just learn, and get yourself a good mentor as well. So anyway, I hope that's great information for you, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.